Alright folks, let's deep dive into what the hell is an Object 283 Premium Tier 9 Russian Assault Medium Tank. It's not a heavy, it's a medium. So damn Becky, look at the size of her hull. It is so freaking big. She must be one of those rappers' girlfriends. They only like her because of her hull. So you know it. My artillery shell wants nothing but big assholes. Alright. Enough obscure 90s reference. So Premium Tier 9 makes more credit and career XP, but it's a paper tank, so what the hell. Sure, why not? Kura 4 fits all the Russian medium tanks, has a cyclic 100mm, so nothing fancy, but it is a pretty big vehicle. However, it only weighs like what? 3 tons more than the actual T-54. So even though it looks a hell of a lot bigger than a T-54, it only weighs 3 tons more, so it's all full of air or something. Plastic surgery, exactly. So here is a direct comparison with the size of the hull. And that is the 705, the heavy tank at tier 9. So obviously the turret is smaller than the 705 because smaller caliber of a gun than the 130 or 122. But it's still pretty big of a hull design, so yeah, it is medium tank for some reason. Also, it's like a boot shape, like the Object 277 with side skirts. So, alright, fancy enough. So let's take a look at the firepower of the 100mm, 226mm of pin for AP round, which is like a sniper AP round from the T-54. So it's okay. More alpha at 360. Okay. 2400 DPM, which is not half bad, but still not as crazy as the T-54. Accuracy is alright, 0.36. 2.4 seconds of aim time is a little bit longer than the average, but still workable. 6 degrees of gun depression for a rear mounted turret is not half bad, 20 elevation. Turret traverse is about 42 degrees per second, so rather quick. It's okay of a gun. I mean, if you're assaulting, you're depending on the armor. The gun is a workable assault gun for a medium tank, right? But let's take a look at the shell velocity and the high explosive anti-tank for gold shell. Shell velocity for AP is 950, which is okay. You still have to lead your shot a little bit if you're sniping across the map. High explosive anti-tank is 300mm of pin. Not half bad. And shell velocity for high explosive anti-tank is 850, which is still okay. I mean, it's not that good, but still in the same ballpark. Now, the downside to this heat round is it has like 30mm less penetration than a T-54. So, yeah, the gold shell on the T-54 or something like the 430 version number 2, they have a pretty high pin gold shell. Yeah, 330. So, also faster too, by like 50 meters per second or so. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, you'll struggle against some of the higher, thicker armored vehicles, higher tier like E100s or maybe the mouse in some sense, but hey, you're a premium, so I guess that counterbalance the actual pin of the gold shell. Alright, fine. Dispersion wise, not half bad for moving, and turret traverse 0.14. So let's see, let me take a quick comparison with the T-54, because the T-54 was once king of tier 9 medium. So yeah, not half bad. A little bit worse turret traverse dispersion, but not that much, so still pretty workable. I wonder if the T-55A is about the same. Oh, T-55A is a little bit better. Okay, fine, whatever. But the main downside is this thing doesn't have as much DPM, so that's so unfortunate. It mostly focuses on armor. So 50 rounds. Potential damage is not half bad. Shell cost is a little bit high. Let me take a second look just to be sure. So shell cost is the same as the T-54, but you get more alpha. Never mind, so that's pretty decent. not half bad. You get the same cost for the shell, but you get more alpha out of it. I wonder about the 430 since it's also an assault gun. Ooh, why is the 430 so cost effective in terms of shell? This thing costs about 50% more, but it deals less damage than the 122. Also less penetration than the 122 on the 430. Also less DPM. But you have better accuracy, same aim time, better dispersion for moving the hull and traversing the hull. Not as good for moving the turret or traversing the turret. Okay, I mean, surprising. I never knew that about the 430. So, cost effective of a shell. Alright, I mean, the gun is alright. It's workable, at least. So, not half bad, but could use a little bit more pen. And that's where the gold shell comes in, so, okay. Armor-wise is the main feature for assault medium tank. So, 1700 health, which is not half bad. 190 at the hull front, 250 at the turret front. 150 for the turret side and 80 for the hull sides. Now it is rounded. It also has space armor on the sides, so turret cupola for the commander is small. Yeah, it's a very small target. That's practically not a weak spot unless you get really unlucky. So that is very good, commander cupola. And loader cupola is practically non-existent. Yeah, practically non-existent. So that's a vent on top. That's not even a hitbox. Alright, cheeks are 250-ish, so kind of flat at about 260. Same goes for the machine gun port, the coaxial machine gun, so 250. Very high penetration shell will go through, unfortunately. There seems like a strip underneath right here. What the hell? What is this artifact? Like the armor right beneath the mantlet or the guns are pretty weak. What? 86? That's interesting. You could get trolled if you get shot right here, but I think that's just an artifact of some sort. Interesting. I mean, there's some small hitbox around the mantlet where there's only 100mm or 130-ish millimeters. So it's not reliable trying to shoot at these pixels, obviously, so don't even go for it, but it's a strong turret. Nonetheless, it's a very strong turret, especially if you have something blocking the hull, which is pretty good. But the hull is 202, 210, upwards to about 270. So don't shoot the rounded parts, shoot the mostly middle beak part of the upper plate meeting the lower plate. But that's 190, so yeah, just shoot here and you'll pin. Lower plate is 140. Slope downwards, so don't shoot the lower plate most of the time. Just shoot the middle. It's a bait. Now it is a rear mounted turret with the engine deck in the middle. So engine deck is only 40. If you have a 122, if you're face hugging, aim downwards, you can actually pin. But the upside of having a large hull structure is you'll beat out most of the gun depression, I guess. Shooting shells into your engine deck, so that might be a plus. But side scraping with side skirts, 20mm side skirts protecting 80mm, and some parts are sloped downwards like a V shape, so these will troll the shots, but decent, half decent. Between the tracks, still decent. It's still somewhat of a V shape hull design, slightly. So V shape right here, slightly for the bottom as well. So it will troll a few shots. Not half bad, but 80 underneath is still kind of below average. You want to like a 100mm or 120, but it's a medium tank. It's not heavy, so a little bit asking too much. But you'll troll a few shots if you're side scraping, especially with the rear mounted turret. So armor is actually not half bad. Alright, enough said. Moving on to mobility. Only 38 tons. Like I said, it weighs like 3 tons more than the T-54, so not that heavy. Don't expect to ram a lot of stuff, even though you look pretty big. It's all full of air. About 18 horsepower per ton ratio, which is also decent for assault medium tank. 50 degrees or 50 kilometers per hour top speed and 52 degrees per second. Yeah, it's a medium tank. Only 18 going backwards, so be careful a little bit. Let's take a look at terrain resistance. Ooh, 1 for hard, 1.34 for medium, 2.11 for soft. That is a little bit worse than a T54, I think. Yeah. Not for soft, but for medium and for hard is kinda not as good. Also for horsepower per ton ratio, so this thing will get bogged down. Yeah, effective top speed in swamps is about 31-ish kilometers per hour. It's still workable, but it becomes more of a heavy tank in that sense. Let's see with about a 430. Object 430. Oh, wow! Really not as good. But it has a lot better horsepower per ton ratio, so that's a trade-off. It revs up faster, but it goes through swamp a lot slower. So that's a downside. Oof. Alright, I mean, nothing to write home about. It seems average, right? Across the board. It seems okay. Concealment, not half bad, but not as good as the 430. So 15 is alright. And view range, 380. So kind of low for view range, but hey, it's about the same ballpark as Russian medium tanks at tier 9. So, man, I mean, I think it's 10 less than the T54, but let's see. Let me take a look quickly. Just always compare with the T54 is such a good vehicle. It was king of tier 9 mediums like what, 7 years ago when there weren't like 20 plus medium tanks at tier 9. When there's only like 5. Yeah, it was king, but yeah, not as good camo, not as good view range. It weighs more. Yeah, T54s are 35 tons, so don't go ramming stuff. You do have a little bit more health, better upper plate, so to speak, but less DPM, dramatically less DPM, holy crap. And better accuracy slightly, and faster shell velocity. Same shell cost. Worse top speed, but better gun depression, I guess. Well, they buffed it to 6. Really? I forgot. Always been like 5. Alright, well, let's talk equipment. So you would probably want turbocharger for the speed boost. It's only 50 kilometers per hour top speed stuff. I say turbocharger. Make it go faster, make it revs faster. So there are a bunch of uses. You could put vents, but that's debatable. Optics to utilize the second slot for field modifications. Also giving a better view range for assault medium tanks that also benefits you. Not as well, duh. And rammer, because rammer. So the usual setup, I think. You could put vents for this slot to help out with the accuracy or the aim time. So this will shave down a little bit to 2.33 at 0.35 accuracy. Also with the DPM buff a little bit. I still think optics is kind of important at high tiers. So the better you are spotting stuff, the sooner you'll live and sooner you'll kill stuff. So optics is always good. It's such a like tier 1 equipment like rammer is. So if you can choose optics, you'll choose optics. Yeah, let's go take a look at field modifications. Oof, well, better traverse even though you don't need it, or better non-penalty to your damage ammo rack or engine. So you already have pretty decent traverse for the hull and turret nonetheless, but you could have more at the cost of penalty from damage ammo rack and gun and engine. Oof. You have repair kits, so I would choose this one still. Better dispersion or better aim circle size. If you're moving, jiggling back and forth and trying to throw off shots, then obviously dispersion. You won't be fully aimed at all times, so I'm thinking better dispersion is a little bit better. Reverse speed or camo. Well, it already has decent 15 camo, but 2 kilometers per hour top speed reverse and plus suspension repair speed. That's not half bad. Compared to camo is 3%, but with the reverse thing, it's 12% camo. Well, if you're playing assault medium tank, might as well go face forwards, you know, direct combat into like 100 meters or 200 meters engagements, then you'll get spotted anyway, so might as well have better track repair, right? When you're side scraping, and better reverse. So I'll go with better reverse. And finally, more health or better aim time. Well, health buff gives you 60 big ones, 60 big HP compared to 0.07 seconds of aim time. 60 more HP or 30 less HP. Oh, that's not even. Well, actually, it's not even 60. It's only 40 more HP. I'm terrible at math. It's 30 less HP or 40 more HP. Yeah, 40 big ones. Yeah, no. Better aim time. Always better aim time at the cost of HP. HP deduction is not that much. It's not like 200 or 300, 400 or so. It's not that crazy. So it's only 40. Come on. You can take 40. That's like what? A 50 caliber machine gun round damage, or like a 40 millimeter ish of a caliber damage. That's nothing. That's really nothing. Better aim time always. So once you apply all of those, put I would say still turbocharger to make yourself go faster, which is important. Optics. You can also put vents, but I'll choose optics. And put optics on. And finally rammer, because you cannot put firepower on medium tanks, otherwise it's too good. Not half bad DPM. Accuracy could be better, but nah, if you have bullets in your arms, yeah, 0.36 or so. Okay. Top speed is also not half bad. It's a premium tank, so you could snipe if you're at like 300 meters, 400 meters or so at 300. But you have the turret armor. You have some decent upper plate armor, so just go assaulting. Hide behind a rack or sorts or side scrape if you want. But how much would I rate this vehicle after we already configure all this stuff? Now, originally, I think I rated it like 6.5 or so. 6.5 from the super test, depending on armor. But after taking a look at the armor and the actual size of the thing, it is a premium, but it's pretty boring. I mean, it doesn't have a gimmick. There's no auto reloader, right? There's no turbocharger thingy-majig where it goes by rockets or jet boosters. So I think I'm more interested in something like this vehicle right here, when it was like leak 8 months ago or a year ago or something. But yeah, this thing is more interesting. It has an auto reloader, but only a crew of 3. So yeah, the accuracy is not as good. Aim time is not as good. DPM is not as good. But it has a crazy gimmick with the gun. So also the penetration is about the same with less alpha. Alright, fine. But this thing has a gimmick, so it seems more interesting, even though it's like a souped up T-54 in a sense, with a larger turret practically, or projectile T-54. That's what I called it. But yeah, this thing seems pretty basic or bland, but still workable. Would I rather play this thing than play any of the other premium tier 9s? Other premium tier 9s have more pen most of the time. I mean, they're all heavy tanks or tank destroyer. So this is the first medium tank as a premium at tier 9. It doesn't have the penetration, but it has the mobility. So I think if you want to make credits, speaking from a premium tank sort of a viewpoint, the more penetration you have as a baseline, the better I think it performs as a premium tank, especially for vehicles with high pen as a premium, like the STRV S1. So if you like playing with tank destroyers, if you don't like to spam too much gold shell, then hell, this is one of the best premium tank. Such a high pen, decent DPM, accuracy for siege mode obviously. It's not slow, has a high camo. You don't have to use that much gold shell, so it's not a gold shell sink. Whereas for the 483, you don't have as much pen compared to the rest of tier 9 vehicles, so sometimes you have to spam gold shell, and that will eat away at your actual credit, earnings. So speaking from a premium tank gathering or obtaining sort, get a premium tank with high penetration to suit your playstyle, like a heavy tank with high pen, which is not the 112 or WZ-111. Yeah, these don't have high pin, but they have preferential matchmaking. So, what's a good premium tank, heavy tank at tier 8 with high penetration? This thing? It has like 210 or so. Yeah, 210, but it has a high alpha. A pretty goddamn high alpha for a freaking 130 at tier 8, which is practically insane, but all tank destroyers have high pin, but maybe the Carnarvon Action X or like the Jumbo Pershing. Let's see. Have to prove my theory some way or another. What is a good high penetration? Oh, the 𝘠𝘬𝘴. 𝘠𝘬𝘴 is a good one. It's underrated, but I think this is a pretty good heavy tank at tier 8. Also goes with the original outclass T-34. T-34 has like what? 250? It's slow and doesn't have that good of a DPM, but high penetration gun as well. So yeah, it's up to your preference, but in my honest opinion, if you want a premium tier 9 that you have to shell out like $50 for, then having a little bit more pin and able to earn more damage per battle to get more credits is more worthwhile than, you know, having a medium tank that's supposed to be a heavy tank. So I think it's still like 6.5 out of 10. So after all this time justifying, it's still a 6.5 out of 10. It's pretty bland. It's not exactly exciting, but hey, whatever. So there you go, folks. Object 283 in-depth review. We are finally done, or mostly. So I'll cover the souped up M47 pattern once the tanks.gg dispersion factors and soft stats gets updated. But for that, I have to wait a while, so I'll wait. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.